first quarter. Ryan down low, and there's the bucket. Zachary Katzer back-to-back makes, all tied up at 4 apiece.
He did a good job there, catching it and keeping the ball high, and then just going up with the shot immediately. Very smooth, good-looking shot that time.
Here's Sean Simeons on the push, down low to Petway, off the window. Christopher Petway looking like he'll be bound for a big morning here against the Brooks Ballers.
And again, you can tell that almost all of their offense runs through Petway, but you can see why. He's a big man down low, and he's got good hands, very soft hands, and he did that up off the glass.
Kai Ryan just short off the front rim. San Antonio gets the rebound.
San Antonio is very long. They have a lot of length on defense and offense. It will be interesting to see as this game progresses if that will continue to be an issue for the Brooks Ballers.
They find Simeons with the push. Sean Simeons puts the Spurs up by 4 as we're a little bit over halfway done with the first quarter.
Again, once that first bucket went down at about 4 minutes into the first quarter, the Spurs have now caught a little bit of fire and found their offensive rhythm.
Here's Ashton Knowles. He'll take the pass down low to Kai Ryan, who finishes. Now, you're familiar with this connection.
Yeah, this is great, too, because people, I think, thought that they were going to shoot the ball. Great pass down low and good shot.
Now, Kai Ryan and Ashton Knowles both played in the varsity junior in the finals against the dynasty known as the Lakeshore Lakers as they suited up with the Brooks Bull Sharks. The Spurs turn it over, and the Brooks Ballers now have an opportunity to tie it up or take the lead.
And at the Division III level, that's what you'll see, a lot of younger players and a lot of players that are old. So the age difference older, so the age difference at this Division III level is really cool. You'll have people just out of high school or in high school playing with people that are in their 40s and 50s, which is really awesome to see.
Ashton Knowles playmaking, Kai Ryan scoring. Back-to-back buckets for Kai Ryan. 8-8 is your score. I spoke to head coach Mark Bowden for the Ballers. I told him about these two young stars that he has, and he just says, yeah, they played so many minutes during the first 3 games. I want to give them a little bit of rest here in the finals. And you can see once these two show up on the floor, they're tough to stop as Petway leaning back and scoring.
That was a stylish-looking shot from Petway. The thing that impresses me about Kai Ryan, Max, he's so comfortable down on the blocks. He's so comfortable just maneuvering his chair in traffic, making good shots, and you can see it. He's going to develop into a great wheelchair basketball player as he matures.
Here's Ryan again, well contested by Simeons. Leaks it forward, passes a little bit too strong for San Antonio.
That was great comeback defense. It looked like it was going to lead to a fast break bucket. Good hustle that time, and they were able to knock the ball out of bounds. Seachrist, good hustle on that.
Petway looked like he wanted to shoot that one. He does. Petway gets his own rebound, intercepted by Ashton Knowles.
Nice hands by Ashton Knowles to steal that pass that time.
Knowles is just so good at positioning himself at the right places at the right times. As here's Katzer off the Knowles feed, and he'll go to the line.
Good catch and nice use of the window that time. That was a difficult angle, but that's why you use the window, a la Tim Duncan when he was with the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA. Nice.
Fitting he also scored against the Spurs as well. We're sorry, Timmy. 10-10 is your score. Katzer at the line. Just misses a little bit too much to the left. Norris gets a Simeon screen. Has a lot of space. He takes it and swishes it.
That was awesome. You could see he was debating whether do I want to shoot this or not, and then he was like, well, if you're going to leave me open, I'm just going to take the shot. He took the shot, nothing but net.
An offensive foul will go against the Brooks Ballers.
And again, you will see a lot of offensive fouls throughout the course of the day because in wheelchair basketball, backpicking is such an important part of getting people open.
What's the secret to a good back pick?
You got to use your chair. Remember, the chair is the extension of the body, so you just got to get your chair in the way of the person, and it can't be moving.
Simeon's well contested. Norris the dish down low to Saldana. Fails to get the hand on it. San Antonio turnover.
Max, I felt like Norris should have taken that shot. He was wide open, headed toward the basket. He made the extra pass. That time, I felt like he got a little too cute that time.
Well, it was wide open. He could have taken it. And he swished his most recent attempt, which was just the most recent score for the Spurs. Now foul will be called against San Antonio on the other end.
That was just a good job by Ryan that time, catching the ball and saying, I'm just going to keep going to the basket until someone stops me, and he draws the foul.
Here's Kai Ryan. Played in the Junior Nationals last weekend. And he has that deadly 1-2 connection with Ashton Knowles, which carried the Brooks Bull Sharks all the way to the finals, which includes a win against the #1 ranked team.
And they put a hurting on the #1 ranked team. That was a good old-fashioned take you behind the tool shed. And they played very well in the national championship game. They just didn't have quite enough against the Lakeshore Lakers, but that was a very entertaining game that you were on the call for, Max.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. It was the action that you really wanted that lives up to the end of the tournament, in which we have seen fantastic basketball.
You know, this has been a great 2 weeks here in Richmond, Virginia. This national championship hosted by Sportable, the adaptive rec organization. Been a great couple of weeks. Juniors and now the adult national tournaments.
Petway looks to shake off Katzer. Nice pass down low to Simeons. Fails to put it in, and Simeons misses the second attempt. 4-second difference between shot and game clock. Kai Ryan feeds Ashton Knowles. Here's Kai Ryan using the freed screen, missing far left.
That was a good-looking shot. Just didn't quite get it to go down.
Shot clock turned off. Brent Norris ducked his head under the basketball. He thought Petway was going to receive it on the other end. He was on the opposite block. 2 seconds remaining. Here's Knowles. He'll just heave it, but that is no good. 12-10 is your score. San Antonio with the lead.
It started slow. Both teams struggled in the first couple minutes of the quarter, finding the rhythm. But once they did, both teams kind of settled into a nice offensive rhythm, entertaining first quarter.
All right, we'll be back at the start of the second. NWBA action brought to you by Performax, as we have the battle for the team that will look to claim third in the third division in the adults. Alongside me is the Dr. Cord Schneider. My name is Max Cates, welcoming all of you on air. 1 point lead for the Spurs to open up the first quarter.
Very entertaining first quarter. Again, both teams started slow, but once they found that rhythm, Max, got into the kind of shook off the dust, the early morning cobwebs, found a nice offensive rhythm. And I think the team that's going to win this is the team that can get stops and then turn that into a run. So which team makes a run, extends this lead maybe to 5 or 6 points, I think that's the team that's going to find the victory for this third or fourth place game. And again, this is important. You want to try to end this national tournament on a positive note.
It's a close game so far among these two teams. As you mentioned, they're shaking off the cobwebs early on. It's an 8-8 game after all. The Spurs move the basketball. Here's to Foley.
That was good defense that time by the Brooks Ballers, not falling for the passes, making the Spurs settle for a difficult attempt.
It's a good structure that the Ballers have had on the defensive end. As Ryan looked to go past Lane.
He's deceptively quick. He does a good job of getting into the defender and then using his speed to get around. He changes speeds very well in the chair.
First team foul against the Spurs in the second quarter. Now the Brooks Ballers haven't committed a single foul all game.
They play very disciplined defense.
And an offensive foul against San Antonio. Rod Hughes, as Rod Hughes just says, that wasn't me, that wasn't me.
You can't throw your chair into your opposition. Always insult to injury when you get called for the offensive foul and you hit the floor in your chair.
NWBA action brought to you by Performax. As you see, the Knowles to Ryan connection making it difficult for the Spurs defense.
And you can tell, Max, that these two guys, Knowles and Ryan, have just played a lot of minutes. They're so comfortable with each other. They know where each other's going to be on the floor. They have that connection that only comes with just playing a lot together. You can tell.
Anesi to Foley, now called for his first personal. The Spurs' second team foul. A minute played here in the second. As Ryan's free throw just rolls off the rim. No, neither team has scored yet. We've only played a minute. And it seems like it's been a little bit longer because we've had a few stoppages. And Ryan splits the pair yet again. Six points for Kai Ryan, 2 free throws and 2 field goals for him. That ties up the ball game at 12. Here's Lane, a tad strong, rebound taken by Hughes.
Second possession where the Spurs were swinging the ball kind of on the outside, not deep in the paint. I think if you're the Brooks Ballers, you like that defensive possession and you will let the Spurs have that shot all day long.
Here's Kai Ryan, wheeling towards the left side. He's open. Rebound snatched up and taken by the Spurs by number 15, Nakia Merritt. Aaron passed the lane. He couldn't get a handle on it. Picked up by Knowles. Open player on the other end. Missed by Gerard Showers. Offensive rebound put in.
Good job that time by Showers. Rushed the initial shot, but stayed with it. Didn't lose his cool. Got the rebound and the putback.
It's a quick 3-0 run for the Ballers to open up the second quarter. The Spurs
have not scored yet in this quarter.
So referee Yusuf Saman calls for a technical against number 1, Rod Hughes of the Ballers. So Merritt will take the free throw and knock it down. So this could be the start of a little run the San Antonio Spurs are looking for. You know, maybe a look will be the start of something they can build momentum on as we're just underway during the second.
Absolutely, Max. And sometimes you just need to see the ball go in the basket. And maybe that free throw will ignite something for the Spurs offensively.
You never know what kind of butterfly effect could happen. As the Spurs have it, here's to Foley. Merritt on the other side. Dishes it down low to Foley, banks it in. Anesi to Foley with the 2. And the Spurs answer with a quick 3-0 run of their own.
That was a nice job. They swung the ball on the outside, but rather than settling for the shot, they did a nice interior pass. That extra pass led to the bucket.
Ryan will take and make.
And we've seen him make that shot not only at this level, but he made a bunch of those last weekend, if you remember, Max, from that very spot on the floor. He likes that spot.
Kai Ryan with 8 points, leading all scores as Tufuli gets the pass under the rim. Second personal foul against Rod Hughes. Now second team foul for the Ballers.
Better ball movement the last 2 possessions, Max, for the Spurs offensively. They're going down low and then trying to get the shots. Remember, wheelchair basketball is an inside-out game, not an outside-in game. Able-bodied basketball much more currently is played from outside in, but wheelchair basketball is inside-out. Got to start by making shots and passes in the paint.
The Spurs move the ball. Saldana couldn't get a handle on it. The Ballers look to have it in transition as Ashton Knowles will slow it down. Here's Kai Ryan, trying to weave through a sea of Spurs defenders, shakes them off. Here's Showers, and a blocking foul will be called against San Antonio.
That was nice chair skills by Ryan there. The Spurs had picked up their ball pressure and were using their chair position to try to stop Ryan's. He was able to weave through and find Showers, who now will go to the charity stripe, try to make it from the line.
The Spurs with their 6th total foul. This is their 3rd one this quarter. Gerard Showers, his free throw rattles in and out, and that's been the story for the Ballers on the foul line.
It is difficult to make a foul shot from a wheelchair. So in wheelchair basketball, you will see more missed foul shots than you would in able-bodied basketball.
Nice pass down low, and here's Ryan. Double-digit scoring for Kai Ryan. Puts the Ballers up by 3.
Great pass and great chair movement by Ryan down low. He's found a nice rhythm this morning.
Here's Merritt off the screen. He gets it back from Norris. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Shot is up and missed. Showers playing keep away. It's in the hands of Ryan. Showers down low. Passes too short for Ashton Knowles. It's just a freebie for Brent Norris.
Not sure what Showers was trying to do there or what he saw. There was no way he was getting that pass through.
Probably had too little arc on it. Respect the thought though, because those plays usually work. Here comes Kai Ryan for the Ballers. The Ballers with their largest lead of the game at 3, halfway through the second. The ball movement is perfect, and Ashton Knowles puts it in.
That's a tic-tac-toe. 3 passes there, set up the easy basket, good ball movement, and now you can see the Ballers have asserted some control. A little bit of danger zone time here for the Spurs. Got to get a bucket here.
Here's Merritt. Uses the screen, he'll take it and make it.
That was just a nice looking shot. Shot that with a lot of confidence. Good follow through. Ball goes where the hand goes. Hand was right in the basket. Nothing but net.
Excellent screen set as well to get the separation. Here's Ashton Knowles. Dishes it down low to Showers. Difficult shot, well contested by Saldana.
Showers has had some good looks, but missed a couple.
San Antonio turnover as the Ballers will look to keep their momentum going. It's a 9-5 Ballers run here in the second quarter. 4 minutes remaining with NWBA action brought to you by Performax.
And Max, we are just getting started. We got 3 championship games after this one. It's going to be an exciting day here in the Henrico Sports and Events Center, as the adult national champions are going to be crowned starting at 10 o'clock with Division III.
This is just the warm-up, and these are still some of the higher-ranked teams in Division III. And speaking of high rank, one of the best junior players in the country, Ashton Knowles, wheeling and scoring with the right hand. The Ballers with a 5-point lead, their largest of the game.
I would look for Knowles the next couple years at the college level to do some great things.
And speaking of great things, Nakia Merritt feeling it here at the end of the second quarter. Back-to-back buckets.
And again, sometimes you see one go down. You can see a lot of confidence in his shot, Max, and he was rolling toward the basket. Good momentum, good-looking shot. 2 in a row now for him.
Knowles down low to Ryan, puts it in, and the foul.
And I'm impressed there by Ryan as he maintained his composure and showed good strength to finish through the contact.
As the Spurs need a quick timeout, Ballers by 5. 3:11 remaining here in the second quarter. NWBA action brought to you by Performax. Kai Ryan leading the charge for the team based out of Jacksonville, Florida. 12 points for one of the best junior players in the country, as he's only in his junior year as well.
Exactly, and again, he's another one that after he graduates, I would look for him to be very successful at the collegiate level as collegiate wheelchair basketball is growing.
Ryan fails to convert the free throw. This has clearly been the Ballers' quarter. Down by 1 to start it. Now they're up by 5. Their offense is just flowing in different ways as Brent Norris banks it off the window.
Good job that time by Norris to use the glass. Good screen set, and he makes the shot.
Seachrist back to Knowles. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Offensive foul against Zach Katzer.
Moving screen, again, much like in wheelchair, or in able-bodied basketball rather, you can't set a moving screen, and that's what they got called for, and it's going to go the other way.
And this is during a period where this Ballers team is on a pretty good roll here in the second, and you don't want to risk losing that momentum. Merritt looks to go through the middle, takes it and makes it.
He's on fire right now, just getting good looks, shooting with a lot of confidence. That time he did a good job of weaving through traffic, using picks to get to a good spot on the floor, and he made the shot.
Nakia Merritt, 6 points here in the second quarter. Less than 2 minutes remaining. The Spurs down by as much as 5, make it a 1-point game.
This has been a really entertaining first game of the day, Max.
As Seachrist misses from the foul line. Offensive rebound, Knowles dishes it to Ryan. He can't be stopped. 14 points for Kai Ryan. and he is on fire as we're soon approaching the end of the second.
And Knowles found him without even looking at him. That was a no-look pass. They just have such chemistry on the floor.
Lucky pass eventually finds the hands of Simeons, who fails to convert. Here's Katzer off the Ryan feed.
And that time Ryan used the idea that the defense thought he was going to shoot. Nice look to the other side of the floor to Katzer, who makes a good catch and puts it down. Good vision by Ryan. He's a really great player. And again, I think we're going to see some great things from him as he matures as a basketball player.
As Sean Simeons has to check out the game. He's clutching his right wrist.
Looked like he got hurt on the rebound down on the other end. There was some contact, incidental contact, and it looked like he was hurt after that incidental contact.
Justin Lane checking in as the Spurs miss on the other end. 11-second difference between shot and game clock. Here's Ryan, has power to his left. Ryan, nobody stopping him, catches the defense sleeping, and is sleepwalking with 16 out of the Ballers' 30 points as we're approaching the end of the first half.
And that time, that was too easy. You got to stop the basketball. You got to play defense with your chairs. The Spurs fell asleep. Talking to their coach before the game as you were, I know that that was a problem for him in the semifinal game, not stopping the ball. Saw it right there as well.
Here's Lane, can't put it in, but he puts in the offensive rebound. Justin Lane ends the Spurs with a positive note as the Ballers have a 5-point lead, and head coach Mark Bowden is not happy with this team. As you could hear after the Ryan bucket, no bucket for the Spurs. They end up getting one in the end of the buzzer, and we're just getting started for this one. It's only a 5-point lead.
And it was such a great, entertaining game, but the second quarter really belonged to the Ballers as they found their rhythm, and Ryan could not be stopped. And so it'll be interesting to see what strategy the Spurs come up with in the second half to slow down Ryan to try to get back in this game defensively, make some stops.
That'll do it for the end of the first half. Winner will be the third best team here in the third division. Ballers with a 5-point lead. Championship Sunday action brought to you by Performax as the Brooks Ballers out of Jacksonville, Florida are up by 5 against the San Antonio ParaSport Spurs. And these two seedings are very different, to say the least, when you look into the ranking of these two. The Brooks Ballers, the number 4 ranked Division III team. They have 30. And of course, the San Antonio ParaSport Spurs, 11.
Nice run for them, and they had a really good first quarter. They were up 12-11, but then the Brooks Ballers just took over in the second half and found some offensive rhythm. We'll see if the Spurs can answer defensively here in the second half.
Yeah, Kai Ryan, 14 out of the team's 30 points to end the half. And we're back underway. Also, Mark Bowden's daughter, Margaret, watching out of the Philippines. We thank you so much for tuning in. He went up and stopped by us during the scores table and said, "Hey, my daughter's watching. Why don't you tell her hello?"
And she probably wasn't happy by the second chance points they gave up at the end of the first half either.
Yeah, he was so loud we could hear him.
You can see the Spurs there trying to bring the ball pressure out, make it more difficult for the Brooks Ballers to get into the offensive set.
And when they get into that set a little bit later, as that is just picked off by Petway. Snagged it with one hand like he was Odell.
And that was really nice. Saw the pass coming. Just nice catch with one hand.
Here's Lane, download the feet to Norris. He fails the layup. Here's Knowles. Too strong off the back iron. Rebound taken by San Antonio.
And again, much like the first half, both teams kind of struggling to find their offensive rhythm to start the second half.
Merritt down low. Showers tips it out of the hands of Petway.
That was an interesting decision by Merritt because Petway was down low, but Merritt had a good look, and Merritt had gotten hot at the end of the first half, and so I was a little surprised that he gave that up trying to find Petway.
Well, when you need a bucket and you run the certain set, it's not surprising that you go to the big man in the post, especially in wheelchair basketball. What a feed. Knowles down low to Showers. Petway just snags it out the air. Sends it forward.
Just couldn't grab it.
Brent Norris lets the ball go past him, picked up by Lane. Here's Merritt, loses the handle of the ball. Petway snags it. 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock for San Antonio. Saldana, here's Merritt. Misses far right.
This is the style, though, that I think the Spurs want to play. When they were leading in the first quarter, remember the score at the end of the first quarter was 12-11. It was a little bit of a rock fight. Second quarter, which went the way of the Brooks Ballers, ended with 30-25. So I think this style with a little bit of sloppiness and a defensive-minded game is the way that the Spurs want to play, whereas the Ballers want to find their offensive rhythm.
Sean Simeon's now checking back into the game. Clutched his right wrist late in the second quarter, so he had to get taken out. Replaces Nakia Merritt. Neither team has scored as we approach the 7-minute mark here in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's a little sloppy start to the second half, just like the first half.
And here's Simeon's, a tad short from the left block.
Good look, just couldn't finish it. Was leaning back in his wheelchair, and that's often a difficult shot, Max. When you're leaning back in the chair like that, tough to make that shot.
It's just that imbalance of power needed to get the shot up with the right distance, as Knowles just leans forward past the contest and uses the window.
That was a good job of maneuvering through traffic. In wheelchair basketball, there's often a lot of traffic down low. Knowles showed a lot of strength and presence of mind to maneuver through it and make a good shot.
Here's Petway. Taken away by Showers. Couldn't get the proper hand on it. San Antonio basketball.
I like Showers. He's got really nice hands defensively, and he's good at anticipating passes. He's knocked away about 4 or 5 passes today, Max, on the defensive end.
Lane couldn't put it in. Here's Ryan. Had Simeons in pursuit. Here's Katzer with the balance.
That was a beautiful play that time. As they brought the ball down the floor, Ryan released late, came to the ball, then found Katzer. Nice play design there. Great offensive set. And now the Ballers are up 9.
Yeah, and you can hear Coach Bowden say release, and that's when Ryan decides to, release the seal, as that's a nice shot by Christopher Petway.
That was an important basket for the Spurs right there because they were in desperate need of a basket before the Ballers might get it up to double digits.
Tough angle, puts it in. Gerard Showers just getting hounded by Brent Norris under the rim, but that does not matter.
That was a great job by him. He had 3 arms around him there. He was able to get it up with strength through traffic. Nice shot by Showers that time.
The Ballers regained their largest lead of the game, up by 9. Norris is short, halfway through the third. Here's Ashton Knowles with Lane in pursuit, and he'll lay it in with the right hand.
That was a great job by Knowles because Lane was in pursuit. He caught the ball, adjusted it, put it in his other hand, then put it back and made the shot. That was such a good job of hand-eye coordination there by Knowles to make that shot.
Willie Jackson needs to talk over with his Spurs team, as it's a really strong lead for the Ballers. 4:44 remaining in the third. 36-29 is your score. We excuse the technical difficulties just after the timeout. Here is the real score. It's 38-27 Brooks Ballers, followed by an Ashton Knowles right-handed layup. And this Brooks Ballers team, ever since the end of the first quarter, they have shaken off their nerves, and they have taken a firm grip of this game.
Exactly, and again, I think it's danger time right now for the Spurs. Not only do they got to get a bucket, they got to start getting stops on the defensive end.
Here's Petway.
You can see right there the Ballers settled into the paint, and they're happy to let Petway take that further out shot as long as he's not down under the basket.
Ashton Knowles with a difficult shot, well contested by the Spurs defense. Kind of forced that one a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they didn't try to run some offense, get a couple passes going. He just shot it off the dribble, maybe rushed the shot a little bit.
As the pass gets intercepted by Seachrist, Knowles ahead for 2.
That's, again, nice catch by Knowles that time. Good hands on the defensive end. Everything right now on offense difficult for the Spurs. Only 2 points in this half.
Ashton Knowles, the leading scorer in the third quarter. He has 6 by himself. 2 of them with the easiest looks he's had all game. Petway fails to answer.
And Petway's taking shots that are further out this quarter, Max. And again, if you're the Ballers, you're happy to let him shoot further outside than down low. You'll settle for those shots every time.
Knowles wanted that one back. He misses from point blank range. Petway couldn't get a handle of the basketball. The Ballers by 13, their largest of the game. And as you said, it's the danger zone for the Spurs.
And the Spurs do not want to play at this pace. The Ballers like playing fast. They like going up and down the court. The Spurs are not built to play that way, and you can tell that as they've made some sloppy mistakes playing faster than they're used to.
Ryan, a high arcing pass intercepted by San Antonio. And that's an and one opportunity for San Antonio.
That was a great job that time as the ball was caught. Then he had to move his chair, catch himself. Petway did a good job of chair skills. Caught, wasn't comfortable with where his position was on the floor, moved his chair, went around the defender, Seachrist, got the foul, got the and one.
Christopher Petway. Double figures now for San Antonio. First player to reach that mark.
Had a really effective first quarter. Has struggled a little bit since. Didn't play a lot in the second quarter.
Rattles home the free throw. 10-point Ballers lead. We haven't seen much of Kai Ryan scoring the ball. He has 14. Scoreless in the third. Here's Knowles. Tried to go for it behind his head. Couldn't put it in. Mark Bowden just looks confused.
Well, I think he caught the ball kind of in no man's land. He didn't see any of his teammates, so he thought he would put up a shot, but he wasn't looking at the basket. That's a tough shot to make.
Lane with the deep one misses. Ryan playing quarterback. Knowles will take it all the way to the end zone.
And that's the third time that's happened this quarter where Knowles has been able to leak out and get a transition bucket. That's something they did really effectively, as you know, Max, on the junior level last weekend.
12-point Ballers lead. 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Petway fails to score. Knowles tries to leak again in transition. Ryan's looking for him. He finds him. Same result yet again. Ashton Knowles on fire in the third quarter with 10.
In the second quarter, it was all about Ryan. This quarter, it's all about Knowles. Nice dynamic duo, and they've got a very comfortable lead as we wind down the third quarter here.
28 combined points among the Ballers, and the two young guns blazing hot in the game for third place. The Spurs have gotten cold on the offensive end.
Exactly. They're settling for a lot of shots just a little further out than they would like.
Here's Power. Just short. It falls into the hands of Ashton Knowles, who can't do anything wrong.
And when he catches it there, forget about it. That's too close and too easy, like taking candy from a proverbial baby.
A dozen for Knowles in the third quarter. The Ballers with a 16-point lead. How will the Spurs try and respond? It's Petway again. Still can't get the makes that he's been looking for. But when he's the leading scorer, sometimes that's the only option.
And he's been taking contested shots. That was an outside shot with a hand in his face, difficult shot. Again, the Ballers playing good defense on Petway in this quarter.
Ryan down low. Power couldn't put it in.
Good look.
Shot clock turned off. 20 seconds remaining.
This quarter has been all about the Ballers, who've really been in control of this game, Max, since the end of the first quarter when they were down 1. They've outscored the Spurs by 15 since they were down 12-11.
Petway's pass hits off the wheel of Justin Lane. The Ballers with 4.3 seconds remaining before the end of the third.
Sorry, my math was bad. They've outscored them by 17 points. That's why I was a history major in college, not a math major.
Christopher Petway is the only one who's put the ball in the basket. He has 5 third quarter points. Here's Knowles, 3 seconds, he'll take, he'll make! Ashton Knowles, 15 third quarter points, ends the third one with a long range missile. 19-point Ballers lead as we're approaching the fourth quarter.
Great third quarter by the Ballers. Great third quarter by Ashton Knowles, and they are in total control.
Ashton Knowles knows how to put the game on the line in his favor. The Ballers looking to ride high. 10 minutes remaining before we'll find a third-place team here in the third division. The Brooks Ballers out of Jacksonville, Florida, dominating the Spurs in the third quarter.
They've been living up to their name because they've been balling in the third quarter. Really offensively, Ashton Knowles took over. Ryan in the second quarter, Knowles in the third quarter, and it's been all Ballers the last two quarters.
The Spurs will start it off right to left on your screen.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see both coaches maybe empty their benches a little bit here in the fourth quarter, get some people some experience. Last game of the national tournament.
A deep shot up and put in. Onesi to Foley with the deep two. No, they're going to count it as a three. I thought his wheel was on the line. But that's a downtown make for Foley.
Nice looking shot. Shot it with a lot of confidence.
Knowles, the playmaker, Power, the reciprocator, and he's now on the board with his first field goal.
Great job by Power that time. Filling the lane, took the pass, finished strong off the glass for two.
The Spurs fail to answer, and this time they do. Brent Norris just magically just gets the basketball and just forces it in.
You know, but Max, as we talk about Championship Sunday, we've got 3 championship games coming up, Division III, Division II, and Division I. And so when you talk about these Championship Sundays, it's which team can successfully play at their pace. And what we've seen in this first game is that the Brooks Ballers were able to play after the first quarter. They started slow, but they were able to play at their pace. And one of the things I look for in Championship Sunday as we go for these next 3 championship games is the teams that are able to force the other team to play at the pace they want to play at are the teams that are going to be more likely to be successful. Pace is such a key part of any level of basketball, including wheelchair basketball. And that's what I look for as we talk about Championship Sunday. And again, we've got a lot of great games coming up. Very excited about it for you today. So if you've enjoyed this, stay with us on the live stream, or if you're in Richmond, come on down to the Henrico Sports and Event Center and watch some championship action.
Stoppage of play will now resume. The Ballers with Ryan, Gerard Showers, Francois Freed, Power missing under the rim, and Ashton Knowles.
That was a good play, though. Ryan showed great vision there. It looked like he was going to shoot it, saw Power, nice feed. Power caught the ball, just couldn't finish.
Knowles, cross-court feed. Ryan to Showers.
Showers has been a glue guy, an unsung hero today. Done a lot of great things defensively, gets another basket there. And really, the Ballers just have too many weapons for the Spurs. They've got too many scores. That's the other thing I look for today, Championship Sunday, Max. When we talk about all these games, which team gets that third and fourth score? You know, it's been largely Petway for the Spurs, only really had the one score. When you get that third and fourth score, you just become so much more dynamic offensively.
To Foley, had an open lane, couldn't put it in. Ballers by 18 as we approach the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Nobody picking up Ashton Knowles, short on the shot.
I was proud of you, Max. I noticed you got your Performax shirt on today in the last day of Nationals. The Performax, the wheelchair sponsor of this event. And they do just a great job of customizing wheelchairs for adaptive athletes.
I got it for free as well, and everything's better when it's free.
Performax is a wonderful company.
Knowles on the other end, continuing his dominant stretch here in the second half as the Spurs need a timeout. Brooks Ballers by 20, their largest lead of the game.
And you know, when you talk about this this game, what really got Knowles going in the second half was transition buckets like the one we saw there. He's been able to leak out multiple times, get easy buckets, and that really got him started.
We'll take a quick break as we're approaching the later stages of the game. It's been all Brooks Ballers. .33 remaining between the Brooks Ballers and the San Antonio ParaSport Spurs. The Spurs keep struggling to put the ball in the basket while the Brooks Ballers are controlling the pace, making the reads, and are up by 20 for a reason.
And they've really just played with great offensive rhythm in the second, third, and fourth quarter and played at the pace they want to play at and have made the Spurs play faster than they want to play. The Spurs want to slow you down, get you in a half-court slog, and the Ballers have been able to really effectively use transition, get out and run and play at a fast pace, and have really controlled the game.
Missed shot by Norris, too fully. Hits the deck off the rebound.
So they always will stop play to allow the player to get himself back up, which he does.
We'll have a championship game to start off after this one at 10 a.m. between the number 2 ranked team, the Steelers, and the number 9 ranked Texas Outlaws. So we'll have a team that will officially jump up a division.
That's exciting. When you make it to the finals and you win, you get to jump up a division to Division 2. So it's going to be an exciting matchup to start off the championship games here on Championship Sunday.
Kai Ryan gets fouled, and he'll go to the line.
That's like a body foul in able-bodied basketball. In wheelchair basketball, the chair is an extension of the body. So if you ram somebody's chair on the shot, that's like hitting their body. That's going to lead to a foul.
Kai Ryan now on the line, scoreless so far in the second half, but really took charge in the first half as he knocks down the first free throw.
But he's also been doing a great job as a facilitator in this second half, finding Knowles, finding power, finding other folks. So he's scored in the second quarter, but then does whatever is needed in the second half as a facilitator.
Ryan, 2 for 2 from the line, now sits at 16 points.
Those were his best looking free throws I've seen in the last 2 weekends with him. Nice looking free throws there.
Ballers by 21. We'll just look to use as much clock as manageable to just try and gut this one out, as that's a nice shooter's touch for too fully.
And what you just try to do is you try to finish out strong. If you're the Spurs, it didn't go the way you wanted, but 4th place in Division 3, that's a great year.
It's still respectable, and it's still a good learning opportunity for this team down the line. And here's Showers cutting, taking, missing a little bit too strong.
Good chair movement that time, had a good shot, just couldn't make it happen.
Too fully the dish down low, the bucket just missed by William Bell.
Bell almost had a bucket. He was calling his kids before the game, trying to get a little good luck from his kids back home before the game started.
And what a journey he has had as he's now playing on the championship floor. And that's a nice bucket for Rod Hughes. First field goal for Rod.
And again, this is a good time to get a lot of different people some experience leading into next year, having that experience on a championship court.
Nice dish by Tufuli, gets it back and puts it in. That's a gorgeous San Antonio play. The two-man game between Brent Norris and Anesi Tufuli.
That was a nice looking offensive play, a little give and go there.
Here's Ryan under the basket. Tries to save his own offensive rebound. It's going to be San Antonio basketball.
He's had a great game today, Ryan has, but he's going to have nightmares about that shot. He's going to want that one back because that was an easy one up under the cup, and he just couldn't get it to drop.
Well, you never know when the easiest look you're going to get is the most predictable one, to say the least. 59-39 your score, 4:45 remaining in the fourth.
And you can hear the coach for the Ballers telling him to finish strong. The game's not over. He wants his players to finish the way they started.
Well, you're only as good as your last possession.
You got to love these coaches. They keep coaching on both sides, no matter what the score, and that's why these teams have been successful all year.
Here's Hughes off the Ryan pass, gets the shooter's touch.
The nice thing there was Hughes catching the ball. That was a difficult catch. He bobbled it, but then was able to get control and then put it up and in.
Tufuli puts it in. A strong second half for Anesi. 9 second half points. That size is tough to stop. And when he's down there all by himself, or at least in one-on-one coverage, there's not many people that can contest it. Seachrist will take just short. And guess who got the rebound? Tufuli.
He's really tried to assert himself late in the second half. And even though the Spurs, again, not going to finish the tournament the way they wanted, they have to be impressed with what they've done. And I really appreciate, Max, that neither of these teams have hung their head. They both played well here today. There was just too much offensive firepower for the Brooks Ballers today for the Spurs.
Yeah, controlling the pace is one action. Executing your game plan is the other. And sometimes when you shoot so well, the ball goes into your favor. You just manage to just get these advantages that gets you the win in the end.
Well, and what's exciting is we've got 3 great games coming up. The Division III Championship, Division II Championship, and then finishing off the second weekend with the Division I Championship. Just going to be a great day of basketball.
Ryan, errant pass, went off the knee of Tufuli. Here's Tufuli in transition. The big man, the dish, gets it back. Couldn't put it in. And you can hear Mark Bowden say, way to get back, Rod. Just altering the Tufuli shot as Gerard Showers fails to score.
That was a difficult shot because he was leaning back in the chair, and you'll see that sometimes. It's difficult when you're leaning back away from the basket to try to get that to go down. It's
a 20-point Ballers lead. to Foley for 2.
Foley, I love his effort here in the second half. Not giving up, going down, asserting himself.
The Ballers running a motion offense. That's why you see everybody constantly moving. You attack the open space, they look to find Ryan.
This has been a great way to start Championship Sunday. Again, we're on this championship court set up for the day. I'm so excited for the matchups we have coming later, Max. I know you are too. You've been here all weekend watching these teams. It's going to be a great cap to a great weekend here in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, it's been incredible to witness the talent on display, both in the present and for the future. And when I'm done with the Division I game, the final, that will officially be my 30th game in the span of 6 days.
Wow, that's crazy. 30 games in 6 days.
I'll say, safe to say the least, it's my personal record.
That's got to be exciting, and we love that you've embraced the sport of wheelchair basketball. It's the oldest adaptive sport in America, founded by World War II veterans after World War II that were in rehab clinics. There's a great book called Wheels of Courage by David Davis if you're interested in the early history of wheelchair basketball from the 1940s to the 1960s. I would highly recommend checking that book out. Talks about how wheelchair basketball players would actually play professional basketball teams. For example, veterans would play the Boston Celtics in wheelchairs in Boston Garden, and the Knicks in Madison Square Garden.
The Madison Square Garden is such a beautiful venue.
Absolutely, and it really is, in a lot of ways, the basketball mecca of America.
I was fortunate enough to cover the Big East tournament, and fortunately enough, I got to see one of the best players in college basketball at that time. Tyler Kolek plays currently for the Knicks, and he didn't wow you with the stat sheet, but he was in control of all of those games. Like, you could see, like, he was not flustered. Whenever he got pressured, he knew what to do, and he knew every play, knew where every player was going to go. 55 seconds remaining in the fourth. The Brooks Ballers will look to play slow and will be now the third best team in the third division.
And the Brooks Ballers as a team, a lot of these teams, again, have junior teams and prep teams that feed into their adult teams. So they've had a good couple of weekends. Second place in the junior national varsity tournament, and then to have this third place finish in the Division III adult tournament. Good couple of weekends for the Brooks Ballers program and where they're headed.
Shot clock turned off. The Spurs on the move. To Foley. Couldn't get the final touch for San Antonio. 5 seconds remaining. It's a 61-44 win for the team out of Jacksonville, Florida, the Brooks Ballers.
And they earned it today. They played great with pace in the second, third, and fourth quarters. Took control of the game. Big victory. Again, good weekends for the program. Their varsity team finished second in the varsity division of juniors. This adult team finishes third. A great couple of weekends. We're really impressed by the talent on these teams, and I'm excited for the games we have yet to come, Max.
That'll be coming up in a short moment. The Brooks Ballers 61, Spurs 44. Alongside me is Cord Schneider. My name is Max Cates. Thanking all of you for tuning in. This is game 1 out of 4 today, and we'll see you later for the Division III championships.